Hello everybody, welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble. I'm on Twitter, Exo Support page and PayPal, whatever you feel free to help out. So let's get started. Seems that the 4080, after dropping their price to $1,000, let's say, $999, went out of stock within minutes. This shows that these GPUs are really out of whack in terms of pricing. I covered this yesterday in B&H, so it went basically out of stock within minutes. They've been doing this here and there, almost like every 2 weeks. At least that's the sense that I have. Being between Nvidia and AMD, their higher end GPUs, 4090 just keeps there, nothing below the MSRP, and it seems to be specific to certain SKUs of those GPUs. It really shows that the GPU prices are completely overpriced. For example, the 4080, it's at least $200, above what it should be. If the 4080 was placed around the $1,000, I think it would sell way better, but of course it's so close in price to the 4090 that it upsells itself to the 4090 for people that have that kind of budget. Even though, of course, this is with $1,000 you can build the entire PC with more than playable and a very good FPS for even 1440p. I did a video a while back, like a few months, I think even before I think it went they announced the prices of the 4080 and the 4090, so a few months ago, and I did like a building guide within that price range, and even for RTX 4080, so $1,200, you can build an excellent PC for 1440p gaming. And even if you don't need like everything, if you need just the main stuff, even like AM5 platform, you can now, with the prices going down way below what they were at launch, you can like with the 7600 with even 32 gigs of DDR5, a good motherboard, a B650, like a MSI Pro, even like I think it's the MSI Pro M650M, something like that. They are very good. They are relatively cheap, and even you can, for 4K, you can get a 7900 XT or 69 if they are available in stock. You can build an excellent, almost basically 4K gaming, but for sure a full complete PC, even in DIY for 1440p. And this shows that the fact that they run out of stock very quickly. I don't know in terms of how, I don't know if they have like 150 GPUs, I don't know, but the fact that they run out of stock very quickly, just we see the demand that the prices need to be corrected to a more affordable position here in terms of bracketing, because the 7900 XTX, sometimes when it goes on sale, it went I think as below as like $800, and the stock just also went out pretty quickly. It's a very excellent GPU. It compares itself to the 4080 in terms of rasterization. Again, I don't think we are still at least at 4K for ray tracing, only with DLSS or upscaling technology, but I think it's too much trickery in terms of the software to use this kind of, like, for example, ray tracing and even like rasterization. All the games seem to go around 60 frames. Some of them, like Cyberpunk, struggle to reach to a certain degree 60 frames at 4K. Yeah, but it is what it is. It's basically my main take is GPUs need to be cheaper to a certain degree. I don't think it will hold on too much. Of course, we have the artificial intelligence craze, and everybody goes on that bubble. It will last a little bit longer because they are pumping up that bubble a lot more than for example, the mining stuff. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. When I see these kind of deals, if they pop out in the gaming sites, like for example video cards or others, I will let you know. But still, they are very quick. When they appear, they just run out in this time within minutes. But yeah, because this is a completely different market that where I'm inserted, which is Middle Eastern. It has completely different prices. In certain occasions, for me, the AMD GPUs can be more expensive than the NVIDIA GPUs. Go figure. But yeah, it's a completely different market, and how it behaves, even in other aspects of the components, it behaves completely different from the North American and to a certain extent to the global market. But yeah, it is what it is. Try it if you're looking for one of those. My advice is, if you're still able to do the things that you do with your current setup, just wait for these kind of drops that appeared. They are being kind of, at least, like I said, 2 in 2 weeks, weekly in some cases, depends on the GPU itself, but you might get a good deal and save like $200. Can go for, I don't know, for more like an excellent SSD or an NVMe, something like that. I think it's worth waiting at the moment, because the MSRP prices are not good. With that, seems that MSI, I was talking about the Beef 650, I was not talking about this one. Seems that the Project Zero motherboard, which is like putting all the connections in the backside of the motherboard, seems that the MSI kind of project here for their components seems a little bit more how do I say it, better on how they're executing, because they managed to put everything in the back. But again, this is a little bit tricky. Aesthetically, it looks very good. Everything on the only things that are of course on the front is the CPU, DDR, the NVMe. I don't think they have anything on the back here, and of course the PCI slots here. The only thing is, again, it's if companies really want to do this, they need to. There's a need to standardize where the connectors are placed, because, and standardize also because the cases, not all cases have like back open slots for the insertion of these pins. Of course, with this kind of pins, you get more height on the back of the motherboard. I don't know if there is, and even if you I don't know, space out like in the back of the motherboard, it will it's basically voids the purpose of putting the pins in the backside, because then you have space that cannot be used for example for the GPU in terms of width of the case. So everything has to be standardized, and I don't see the only thing that I can not even. I think MSI have their own cases, but they are not nothing out of this world. ASUS has also some cases there from the ROG series, but if there is no standardization of this, and in conjunction with the case manufacturers, I don't see this going very far, unless it's like in a closed system. So you basically are close to, for example, only using MSI products, in this case MSI motherboards in conjunction with MSI cases, because they are supposedly going to be manufactured to be compatible with this. But yeah, not it seems pleasing for me. It looks good. The only thing that you're going to use here, it's screws and the connections. So aesthetically, I really enjoy it. But yeah, as you can see, everything went here. Even the SATA connections are here. The power pins and everything seems pretty good. But again. It's a matter of standardization of the things here. If it's not made standard, so where the connections are set up for the case manufacturers to comply with it, unless you want to DIY yourself and cut the case yourself, I don't see this going much further. But yeah, it is what it is. Also, in less good news, seems that now the Intel GPU drivers are going to collect telemetry data by default. So when you install the drivers, it will automatically do so. So you have like the check marks, it's also automatically selected. This telemetry that they are going to gather is categories such as websites visited by users. This is not supposedly going for specific URLs, so I don't know what this is. Categories of websites, if it's not going for URLs, I don't know what it is. And how they utilize the computers. Intel will also collect information on sister hardware specs, regional information, and manufacturer devices. This I'm not very comfortable as always, but it's I understand to a certain aspects, like hardware specs, what you have installed. In terms of hardware, regional information, very broad. I don't know what they intend to say with regional information. Manufacturer devices again comes into the field of hardware specs. I don't see an issue knowing, for example, the GPU is paired with which kind of devices overall in terms of hardware. Now, in terms of software, I only feel comfortable knowing that they have, for example, the Windows version or the operating system version, if it's running on Linux or on Windows, as a telemetry to know when they do this, because it helps to a certain point having some telemetry gathered, so they know how to optimize better their drivers. But the fact that they just going websites and all this kind of stuff, it's not good. However, the good side of this is you can uncheck when you install, so be careful if you like update or like clean install Intel drivers. You can deselect that option. The option itself, it's called Compute Improvement Program. I think, yeah, it's the last one here. So you can deselect this, which is good, something that you cannot do with NVIDIA. And AMD comes with this option, but it's automatically deselected. So you have to manually select it if they can run with telemetry gathering and everything. Yeah, this kind of privacy stuff, it's for me, it's really important. At least for me. Some people don't seem to be bothered with, but that's okay also. But yeah. And of course, Intel and AMD are basically the only two that you don't need like an account to take advantage of the software. And the software, from I understood, also from Intel and AMD, it's like one single application, and you can do basically everything there. Intel is improving theirs, like with options, more options and everything. AMD, it's the better one because you can do overclocking, you can do like a screen record and all that stuff. While with GeForce, you have to have an account, you have to be logged in every time you use it, and there is two applications. The GeForce Experience, it is basically the drivers, and you can like screen record and all that stuff. But then you have the other one, I always forget its name. It's from the control panel stuff, which is, then you can tweak the other stuff there. It's a mess, but yeah, at least you can deselect that. But pay attention when if you have an Intel Arc GPU. Make sure there is an application I forgot to mention, NVC Clean Install. That is a tool to remove that package from the driver itself, so you don't have like telemetry collected. Now, in continuing with bad news, this time gaming wise, it seems I covered this like some rumors at the time with Red Dead Redemption being the IP being something marked or the rated in South Korea or something like that, and seems that that was basically for these purposes. Red Dead Redemption launches on PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. They say with no major visual improvements. It is just a port. There is nothing extra except for the extra content, which is the DLC Undead Nightmare, and yeah, it's just a port for PlayStation 4. The fact that they launched for PlayStation 4, it's because it's just basically a port of the game itself, because they launched for this version because then it can be backwards compatible with PlayStation 5, and of course Switch I think can handle this game in terms of the engine capabilities and everything, but yeah, it's not good. And the fact that it's like full price, so it's $50 for this, which is not good. This game is old. I don't recall. It was originally launched on PS3 and Xbox 360. I don't get here that there is no date of the launch. Yeah, so it's an older game. It's before 2010 for sure. No improvements, no like remaster or something like that. It's basically just a port, and this port is made from Double 11 Studios, so it's not even done internally. So it's a mess. These guys just want to squeeze out every money. 2K, at least Rockstar, the Rockstar games IPs, they're been going down the drain in terms of quality and how they're going about it, dealing with gamers. It's not good. I saw something regarding GTA Online that they just remove a lot of the cars and then they put it behind a paywall. Even if you already had the cars, you just they remove the cars from your inventory, and then if you want to buy them, if you want to get them, you have to buy for them, which is something that before was for free. It's completely messed. That's why I avoid this some games from certain studios, because how they've been behaving for the last few years, I just avoid that. Even though I might miss on a good, to a certain extent, to a good experience, I prefer not to get that experience and then get a bitter taste on how they behave themselves regarding consumers, because we paid for the product. And when you pay for the product, afterwards they remove stuff that you already paid to pay again, which is definitely not a good experience. The same thing, you buy a car with certain a version of a car, and then afterwards the manufacturers or the dealership come and removes some stuff here from what you bought from the car. Let's say an AC or something like that. They remove the air conditioning, and then they say, okay, for you to have access again to the air conditioning, you have to pay an extra. It's the same shit. For me, it's not good. But in better news, seems that there was an interview from IO Interactive, so the Hitman franchise developers, and I covered this one, the Project 007, some rumors there, and also the Project Fantasy, at least is the code name for now. But they gave us kind of a little bit of tease and tidbits here. Basically, the 007, it's under development at this time. It's looking very cool, of course it is. It's going to tell the story of the first Bond and how he becomes secret agent that he is. But from what I understood, it's not like an adaptation of any of the movies, so it's its own things, like a separate universe per se, which is good, because usually when you try to adapt from other media, there can be some restraints, especially in gaming. If you try to adapt something, then you try to adapt that media, let's say a movie or a series. When you want to adapt it into a game, there can be a lot of restraints in terms of how you can go about it, the game. And but seems to be it's like a very Hitman kind of a thing. It's a very like open areas with I think assume some missions, third person stuff. So let's see how it goes. And the fact that also that game, the Project Fantasy, supposedly it's going to be an online multiplayer RPG, but it's supposedly years away until the release, so it must be or in pre-production or early stages of production, like concept stuff there, because we only saw concept art from this project here. We'll see how it goes. They've been doing good with Hitman. If you like, I kind of enjoyed. I played the first Hitman or something like that. I really enjoyed that. It's one of those that I'm probably going to try out when I can. The last Hitman stuff seems pretty enjoyable. It's not very straightforward. You really need to think a little bit on the puzzle stuff there, on the scenarios that they give you and the tools that they give you to proceed with the missions here. But yeah, it's good news. Things seems to be on the way of going on the good way here. And lastly, we're going to talk about here Baldur's Gate 3. Again, I've been hammering on this game. I never played like a CRPG with the ND rules, but this one seems to be one of the best games. I think contender to the Game of the Year award. We've been seeing a lot of good games this year, but this one can be a contender. The main fact is, even if I never play this game, I will try to support this game or buy it at least, because I think it sends the message that this kind of approach to games, it's the correct one. It's they launch okay, they had they managed to do the early access properly, which is launch a big chunk of the game, so Act 1 if I'm not mistaken, and leave it there to get some feedback from the players. Also, to some extent they beta test it to a certain degree, but it's early access, so it's nobody is hiding anything, and took that feedback and improved on the overall game. And when it launched with everything, so it's a full complete game with everything there, no microtransactions there to enjoy the game, no at the moment, at least that we can see, there is no DLC to be launched, so it's a full set of games. The only thing that it's being done here, it's improving, like cleaning up bugs, maybe some improvement in terms of performance, but there is no hidden stuff, and it's a full game. Like years gone that we saw something this big to be properly done. The only thing that even like indie games, they sometimes they need to do some DLC to try to monetize and keep afloat, because indie games usually are cheaper, so, and the cost of productions is the cost of productions. But yeah, this is one of the best games that I've been seeing out. I've been watching, I've been following up with fextralife here. This part here is to highlight their guides and their wiki stuff there. Here I've been coming out to fextralife when I have some doubts, or I want to know more stuff, or when I'm stuck on something regarding a game where they have a wiki. I always come here to check out if there is a solution. Usually there is, because it's also maintained to a certain degree from the community, and they update it regularly. So it's one of those sites. It's independent, so it's not from a corporation. It's a team of persons with some freelancers that they just keep this project going, and it's one of those that when I can, I make a shout out and also do some support here. But yeah, it's one of those, and in this case for Baldur's Gate 3, they are going to be very busy filling out this wiki, and with a lot of guides. They have excellent guides, very comprehensive. But yeah, this is what I want to mention here. Also from them, there is supposedly going to be a Deathbound game, which is kind of a Techno-Medieval action RPG Soulslike coming in 2024. That's a mouthful. Seems interesting. I watched the trailer. The most thing unique here is its players can switch between heroes in their party on the fly. So it's like a party based, not multiplayer but party based, but you're just playing with one character at a time. It's like almost like Street Fighter, when you call up the companion, but here you can manually switch between kind of the classes per se. I don't know how it is going to be called. This system they call it binding, but I don't know how it's going to work. So basically, you can call switch and make. They call it unleash morph strike, so you can make combos between the classes in terms of strikes and everything. I suppose if you have like a paladin that can heal the next guy that comes, or make a strike and then make a combo with the other one to augment the effect of the first strike, something like that. But yeah, it seems that this mechanic seems interesting. I recommend you watch the trailer so you get a sense of what's happening there. But yeah, seems that some of the inspirations is Mortal Shell still rising in Samisia. But yeah, it seems interesting how they're going about it, the combat. I got a little bit confused at the first when I watched. I didn't understand what they're trying to do, but then I read this part here, and then I got enlightened regarding what they are trying to do here. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up here with some gaming deals. We got Steam Visual Novel Fest until the 14th of August. I didn't find anything that I remember like having on my wish list here. Steins Gate, I watched the anime. I really enjoy it. I don't know how it's going to be about. I don't know how the game is, but you got a lot of like visual novel kind of style games. It's not really my thing. But yeah, the festival it's here. I will leave a link on the page so you can check out if you have anything that interests you. Also, Slay the Spire deck building. The one, I think it's one of those games that revamped the deck building stuff here. Very excellent game. 66% off, and I think it's well worth it supporting. It's made, of course, by Tiny Teams, which is basically a small team of indie developers, and I think it's well worth it. It went for early access with one class, so they can fine-tune the mechanics there, and then after the full release, almost 4 years ago. No, 4 years ago. It's one of those that everybody needs to try out in terms of deck building to have a proper sense of how a good deck building game with some roguelike elements there, it's done. Also, we got Ghostwire Tokyo. It's not very my thing here, at least from what I perceive, but it seems I'm curious. It's made from Tango Gameworks, so the same guys from the Evil Within series, but it's got very positive reviews. I think they did some updates recently. Spider's Thread update, patch notes, so DLC here, but it's on a good price, 67% off. I think it's well worth to try. You should have a demo, of course, but yeah, I think it's well worth if you like this kind of games. Yeah, I recommend the demo. It's better for me. I never saw anything from this except for the marketing materials. Seems interesting how they're going about it, but usually it, I don't know, didn't call too much to my attention, but it's something that it's if you like this kind of games, I think it's well worth it. System Shock went now on a deal. As you can see, you have a demo to try out to see if it's for your liking. This is basically a remake, a proper remake per se, in a proper sense of the first game. It took a lot of years to come through with this remake, but they managed to do that, and it's very positive feedback. People that played the first game and now play the remake say that it's very faithful, and basically it's one of those remakes that was made properly. And it's 25% off, so $30. I think it's well worth the price. Because it's one of those games that basically almost any first-person shooter or immersive sim, it's inspired by this game, so I think it's well worth the try. Also, you got Ni no Kuni. Revenant Kingdom. Now they call it the Princess Edition, but it's 80% off. I think it's one of those JRPGs that are very enjoyable, very light-hearted, but a good story still. And this is the first. This is the first game. This is the I think the improvement. So kind of the remake per se, because this is the one I have on my wish list. And then we got, I think it includes all the DLC also, if not mistaken. But yeah, it's one of those that I think it's well worth playing out in terms of JRPGs and very Ghibli style animation. I think it's well worth it. And I'm going to wrap up for today, guys, with my Google Fund Me. You know the thing. Not going to bother too much about it, so I can update my PC to get better content for everybody, for you, my clients, and even for me. And with all that said, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, Kunamy Master out.